Okay, we're going to quickly go over, there's only 3 questions on chapter 22. So we'll go from the My Issue, we'll click on the title, remember that takes us to our Canvas page. You scroll down, we're going to go to the second set of homework problems, which strangely might seem a little out of order, but it really isn't. It's chapter 22. And just quick synopsis of while I'm loading. This particular chapter is wanting you to think about three ideas. They're pretty prominent ideas in economics, and they are asymmetric information, moral hazard, and adverse selection. So asymmetric information is where one person has more information than another. The moral hazard problem is where a person doesn't have to take responsibility for the risk or the behavior that they're incurring. So for example, if you get car insurance and you suddenly start driving your car really erratically or like a maniac, because you know if you get into an accident you have insurance, that would be considered a moral hazard problem. It's kind of like an unintended consequence. You do something for one reason, but you end up getting consequences that were not anticipated. And then the adverse selection is, I always like to think of it from the angle of this homework in particular. It's really kind of the same thing as asymmetric information, but it's a little bit more specific in that it's looking at the actual market process where a buyer or seller is able to benefit from the asymmetric information, or one person having more information than another. So as you do these questions, those are the 3 primary things you want to think about. So I'll help you with a couple of them here. So like the homework questions in chapter 1, you're going to need to do the same thing here. You need to read the questions, kind of look at what you're needing to answer, and then go back and reread. So we'll read the first one. It says, consider each of the following situations involving asymmetric information. So you know this set of questions right here is the idea of where one person has more information than another. Okay, so it says, landlords require tenants to pay security deposits. So what it's trying to have you do, oh, and then the question says, after it says it here, so you've got to watch this too. Oops. How does the action described reduce the problem of moral hazard? So what it's asking you there is that we know one person has more information than the other. So when a landlord, rents out the condominium, let's say, they have no idea if the person that they're going to rent to is going to behave well or not. So this question is saying, what is the reasoning behind a landlord wanting a tenant to pay a security deposit? So I think you could probably answer that. Then the next one says, firms compensate top executive with options to buy company stock at a given price in the future. So this is saying, how does the action describe reduce the problem of moral hazard? So again, remember, moral hazard is where somebody's taking a behavior that may not be in the best interest, in this case for the company. So what is this company, if they're allowing top executives to buy company stock, what is that company trying to avoid from happening? And then car insurance companies offer discounts to customers who install anti-theft devices in their cars. This is asking, how would this behavior help reduce the problem of moral hazard? So I think you'll be able to do this. I'll continue on. Okay, the second question says, suppose that the Live Long and Prosper health insurance company charges $5,000 for a family insurance policy, and then the president suggests the company raise the premium to $6,000 to increase profits. So this is saying, what is this going to do? Is this going to, if the firm follows the suggestions, it's saying individuals who are relatively healthy but didn't have insurance before will now purchase coverage. Does that make sense? That now if the insurance goes up to 6,000, it's even more than it was a minute ago, that somebody who didn't have insurance when it was 5,000, who's very healthy, do you think they're going to now buy it when it's 6,000? And then the next question is saying, if the firm implements the suggested price increase, the firm's pool of customers will tend to become, are they going to be more or less healthy on average? So think about it. If you were the healthy person and now suddenly you have to pay all this extra money for healthcare, what might you actually do if you're able to? Would you possibly maybe drop the coverage? So think about that as you're answering this. And then the last question in this problem is just, again, trying to have you think about kind of similar ideas using healthcare. So I'm not going to help you with this one. I think you should be able to be okay on that. So that's, I think, actually, yeah, that's it for Chapter 22. Hope it helped.